Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Handle our business. Handle our business. Handle our business. Get the fuck up out your feelings. Just another episode. Get your popcorn ready. We let the chopper explode. Hold the trigger finger steady.
You give a fuck about a hater, nigga. Wish you well.
Yo, what up? Forget what you heard, forget what you think you know. You just step into the dopest, most official spot online. This ain't your grandmama's live stream. This ain't your cousin's podcast. This is Welcome to the Crib. I am your host, the one and only Triple Beam. And if you're not here, then you ain't nowhere. So before we dive in, do me a solid, hit the follow button, ring the notification bell, do what you gotta do. Find me on Instagram at TripleBeam01. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Welcome to the Crib. You can join the live hangouts as well on Twitch once we get the Twitch stream back up and running at Triple Beam Official. Now that everybody's in the building, turn up the volume, get comfortable, and let's get the party started. This is Welcome to the Crib. Guys, we're finna do the NFL Week 5 recap. See what we have here. Starting off the day, we had the Vikings and the Browns. The Vikings pull out the win, come from behind in the fourth quarter, score the only points in the fourth quarter to win 21-17. Carson Wentz, 25 of 34, 236 yards, and the touchdown to help the Vikings go to 3-2. The Browns with Dillon Gabriel coming into the game. Listen, man, Dillon Gabriel, he's decent. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to talk down on the quarterbacks that's not the prototype, and he's not the prototype. The prototypical quarterback, the default like to try to promote, he got to be 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", you know what I'm saying? What you know, that type of. So I'd hate to talk about guys like Dillon Gabriel because, you know, with his stature, he comes in already, you know, under the gun, so to speak. And for him to be in this position, going, you know, playing at a high level in college at Oregon, getting into the NFL, becoming a starter in this league, in the NFL, I think it's a testament to Dillon Gabriel. So basically, you know, hey, we got to make some noise for that in itself, you know. And I always, you know, I always like to, you know, highlight guys like Dillon Gabriel, guys like Kyler Murray, you know, quarterbacks like Michael Vick, quarterbacks, you know, from the past, like Doug Flutie, quarterbacks like that. You know what I'm saying? Those guys who are not the prototype and still able to get into this league and compete. You know, Bryce Young. And that lets me know that this whole prototypical thing is a figment of our imaginations. Russell Wilson. It's no prototype. There is none. It's if you can get the job done or can you not get the job done. Can you throw the football? Can you, you know, understand these offenses? Okay? Are you capable of putting the ball where it needs to be, on time, standing in the pocket, delivering the football? And now in 2025, can you run the football when need be? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, all these guys can run the ball if need be. And these are MVP caliber quarterbacks. So let's just take the prototypical stuff out the window. But aside from that, Dillon Gabriel, he looked decent in London, England. He looked decent in the London game. He was able to do some things. Let's look at the box score here. Can I pull this up for you guys? Let's see if I can pull this up for you guys. We're going to check out this box score here. Check it out. Dylan Gabriel, this is courtesy of ESPN, by the way. 190 yards. They asked him to throw the ball 33 times. Mind you, they were winning this ball game going into the fourth quarter, so they should have been running the football, I think, a little bit more. Take the ball out of the young rookie's hands. He threw the ball more times than Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a proven veteran backup in this league right now, but he was a starter once in Philadelphia. Dylan Gabriel, 19 of 33, 190 yards. He had 2 TDs, no interceptions. On paper, that looks great. Those are decent numbers on paper for sure. But at times, and I wish I had the highlights or I could show some of these plays. You know, I just don't know if he is that guy. I'm a little bit biased because I'm a Shedeur Sanders guy in myself. I thought that he should not have dropped at that far in this draft. I think if they were going to select him, they should have selected him ahead of Dylan Gabriel. I really do. But the fact that they take 2 rookies in the same class in quarterback, like really literally one round after the other, is really, I don't think that I hadn't really seen that done like that before. But for me, in my opinion, you know, I saw some flashes from Dylan Gabriel, some positive that you could take out of it, but I don't think he is going to be the answer for Cleveland long term. But like I said, I hate to shit on those non-prototypical type quarterbacks, but I just need to see a little bit more from them. But when we look at this division that Cleveland is in, they're done. Cleveland is done, man. They're done. And we know that. They don't have a quarterback. The AFC North. When you look at the AFC North, basically, and with the with the way Baltimore played yesterday, you basically got to say that the Steelers will win this division by default. A lot of people have been asking all over ESPN today, what has happened to Baltimore Ravens? What has happened to Lamar Jackson? He's played not the same the last couple of games. Okay, he was out this week. Cooper Rush came in, and Baltimore just got beat down all over the place. So we know with the quarterback chaos that's going on in Cleveland, is it going to be Dylan Gabriel? Is it going to be Shedeur? Right now, Dylan Gabriel absolutely bought himself another week as a starting quarterback for Cleveland Browns. 190 passing yards, 2 touchdowns on his debut as a rookie out of Oregon. So he bought himself another week. They got Joe Flacco listed as the backup over there, but we know if something happens and Dylan Gabriel can't go, they have to go to Shedeur. But it's just a soap opera in Cleveland right now. You don't really have stability at the number 1 position on any roster. And that's why they're sitting here looking at 1-4 with a great defense, I might add you, by the way. And they're sitting at 1-4 in the division. And surprisingly, you see Baltimore is right there with them at 1-4. And so with that being said, we'll just have to say that Pittsburgh is more than likely to win this division by default. But that's what we had in game one of on Sunday. It was an early game in London, and the Vikings get the win 21-17. Now let's talk a little bit about the Vikings now. Carson Wentz, he could not win the starting job on opening day versus the rookie out of Michigan, J.J. McCarthy. And JJ goes down, I think, in week 2 after having a great performance in week 1. Carson Wentz steps in, and he's been the starter since. They go overseas last week, and they lose, and they played horrible. And Minnesota has been undefeated overseas prior to that loss last week. But they come yesterday on Sunday, and they pulls out a win in the fourth quarter touchdown to give them the lead against the Browns. Carson Wentz, 25 of 34, 236 yards, a touchdown for Minnesota. Jordan Mason, he's been running the ball absolutely excellent. He had 4 yards a carry, had the 52 yards of a touchdown, only 13 carries in that game. I'm not sure why his carries were so minimal. You see Quinshon Judkins at Cleveland, he had the ball 23 times. I think Jordan Mason should be around the 20 to 25 touches a game for Minnesota. But them being down only 3 at halftime, I don't think that's enough time. I don't think you should panic there and just go pass crazy. You're only down by 3 points at halftime. But Minnesota, they have a great defense. Carson Wentz is a capable backup. We'll see what Minnesota is able to do here in the next couple of weeks. Right now, let's look at the standings for Minnesota. Minnesota. Right now, they're second in the NFC North. Let's look at the North standing. They're second in the North. Tied. Would that be tied for second? I guess because of the 3 wins, that puts them second, but they got 2 losses with and Green Bay only has the 2 wins and then the 1 loss and then the tie. But Detroit leads that division. I think that this division is going to go down to the wire with Chicago getting their 2 wins in a row before their bye week this week. But you got to think, Detroit is picked to win that division. A lot of people had Green Bay that could possibly come out, but then you have Minnesota right here picking up wins. Chicago at sitting there at 2-2. This is going to be interesting going down the stretch. We'll pay attention to this division to see. But for me, if I had to just pick, obviously Chicago Bears, that's my team, and I want Chicago to win the division every year. But realistically speaking, I think this division belongs to the Detroit Lions. They only got 1 loss so far this season. But of course, Minnesota is right there, as well as Green Bay, and quite frankly, as well as Chicago. I mean, if Chicago comes out this week and they get a win, I'm not sure who they'll be matched up against, but if they can sneak out a win, they have an offense. Caleb Williams coming along. You just never know about the NFC North right now. The NFC North division is tightening up, and it looks like it may be one of the toughest divisions in football right now, if I may say. I mean, obviously the NFC East is always going to be tough. But with Chicago getting wins, it looked like the Bears may be able to make some noise in the North. Minnesota, and we'll go back and we'll go ahead and we'll recap some of these other games. But Minnesota goes to 3-2, and Minnesota goes to 3-2, and the Cleveland Browns dropped to 1-4. The next game was the Indianapolis Colts. They host the Las Vegas Raiders, and we talked about this last week, man. At some point, man, Geno Smith, he's been throwing the ball upwards of 35 times every game, and it seems to be of no avail. He's looking very, very, very pedestrian right now. 2 interceptions on the day. 40-6 by the Colts. Daniel Jones resurrecting his career as he moved on from the New York Giants and now is the signal caller for the Indianapolis Colts. And now he's looking like an MVP type quarterback here with the Indianapolis Colts. 40-6. Let's look at this box score, man, and just kind of figure out by looking at these numbers what type of game we had. Daniel Jones came in. He beat Anthony Richardson out for the starting role at the QB position for the Colts. Daniel Jones, 29 attempts, 20 completions, 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. Had a rating of 113 on the day, which I think that is a pretty good day for a Daniel Jones. Like I said, coming from the Giants, where he seemed to not be able to. I think he had the 1 year in New York where he looked really good, but after that, man, it was just a complete disaster. He gets out of the New York, goes to Indianapolis. And for the first 5 games of the season, I mean, he is one of the top quarterbacks in the AFC right now. We have to say that. I mean, of course, you have your big names like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Pat Mahomes. So it's really almost like sacrilegious to say Daniel Jones when you talk about those guys. Like it sounds fucking crazy to say. But nonetheless, we have to say Daniel Jones. The man is 4-1. Really, they should be undefeated right now. Really, the Colts should be undefeated. Let's go back, and if you look at this, the game that they lost last week, 27-20 against a hot Rams team who needed a win themselves. And so they're just a touchdown away from being undefeated. So you have to give props. You see this? They're a touchdown away from being undefeated. So you have to give props to what the Colts are doing, what Daniel Jones has been able to do. When you look at Daniel Jones right now, he's third in passing yards, 1,290 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions so far this season. Now, I think those touchdowns, it just proves that he's managing the game. 2 interceptions only, you know what I mean? Means he's trying to protect the football. They're not asking him to go out there and just do a whole hell of a lot with the Colts. I mean, because you don't have to. You don't have to. Look who he has at running back. He has one of the top rushers in the NFL, Jonathan Taylor. He had 3 touchdowns on the day. You can clip it and book Jonathan Taylor, okay? For the clip it and book it player of the week. 3 touchdowns, 66 rushing yards off 17 attempts, 3.9 yards per carry. So with a guy like Jonathan Taylor in the backfield running the ball the way that he does, you do not have to ask a whole lot out of Daniel Jones. And again, I say we had to go back to what's going on. We had to go back to what I said what was going on in New York with the Giants. Because now all of a sudden Daniel Jones, he can play. He had a running back in New York. He had Saquon Barkley, one of the best running backs of this generation. And now everybody talk about Saquon. We have to talk about Jonathan Taylor in that same type of category. Jonathan Taylor. Look at those numbers. He leads the league first in carries, first in yards at 480 yards, first in touchdowns. He has 6 rushing touchdowns so far this season. Jonathan Taylor is that guy. One of the best running backs in the NFL right now, if not the best. He is playing the best right now. The best running back in the NFL right now is Jonathan Taylor. And listen, Daniel Jones can play. And we definitely have to say that Daniel Jones is the top 5 quarterback in the NFC right now. He's playing top 5 in the NFC, I would say. I mean, Joe Burrow, no, because he's injured. You know, obviously you got Lamar. Obviously you got Pat Mahomes. Lamar's injured right now. But I think he'll be back next week. But you have Josh Allen. Those are your top 3 quarterbacks in the NFC right now. I'm not going to say Joe Burrow because I think Joe's out for the season. So four is the Chargers quarterback, Justin Herbert. After Justin Herbert, who's left in the NFC that you would take over Daniel Jones right now with the Indianapolis Colts being 4-1 and leading that division? I don't think you can put anybody else over them. I don't. We'll dive a little bit deeper into that a little bit later on, but we have to go over to the Las Vegas Raiders. They get handed their 4th loss of the season, 1-4 on the season, led by Geno Smith. They haters, they wrote, but they didn't write back, but they are writing right now, Geno. They are writing right now. They are writing right now. They're trying to write Geno Smith off again. And listen, man, Geno, you may have to pack that letter and send it in the mail, my boy. Because right now you are looking horrible the last couple of weeks. And it's not just the quarterback play. I mean, the turnovers, the sacks, 4 sacks in the game, 2 interceptions. The look of, I don't know, the look that Geno Smith has, man, when he is on a 3rd down and he throws an interception and he gets sacked and he walks off the field and goes to the sideline to the bench. The facial expression, it just annoys the hell out of me. I'm serious. I'm fucking annoyed. Geno Smith, man, you got to do better, man. Listen. Coach Pete Carroll he's going to have to look to someone else. I mean, and who do they have on this roster? Jeff Driscoll, Aiden O'Connell, Kenny Pickett. Who's going to be the quarterback to take over for Geno Smith if he continues to play the way that he's playing? Listen, we can write these Raiders off. They're not winning any games. They don't have a quarterback. I see this team going 3 wins, 4 wins at best. This team sucks. Tom Brady's supposed to have ownership in the Raiders. He's supposed to have been a mentor to Shedeur Sanders, but they passed on Shedeur Sanders how many times during the draft? He goes all the way down to the 5th round to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they throw him to the bench. They want him out there playing cornerback or something. I don't know. What the hell is going on? Geno Smith has more interceptions than touchdowns. This cannot continue to go on in Vegas. This guy has to have the longest leash in the NFL. I guess because he don't have nobody challenge him back here. Maybe Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett was once a pretty decent quarterback. I thought he was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league at one time when he was there at Pittsburgh. But he just took a 360 and just became a guy all of a sudden. And when he was in Pittsburgh, he had plenty of weapons at the time. George Pickens, big tight end that was their big guy. They had just drafted the running back from Bama. But man, the Raiders, man, they are horrible. They are horrible. Geno Smith is playing horrible. Ashton Jeanty, he had a better game the last couple of weeks, 67 rushing yards. He is the only thing, in my opinion, that they have to look forward to right now is Ashton Jeanty. They drafted him in the first round, so they have to give him his touches, his opportunities. Jacoby Myers, obviously, receiver there. But other than that, as far as name recognition on their roster, it isn't a whole hell of a lot of that going on. But Geno Smith, man, he's horrible. But nonetheless, the Raiders, they dropped to 1-4, and the Colts number one in that division in the AFC, and they are 4-1 on the season. Daniel Jones, obviously, and Jonathan Taylor right now is up. Jonathan Taylor is an MVP candidate, definitely. He's an MVP candidate. He's an MVP caliber type quarterback. Running back. And with guys who you thought like Derrick Henry, who everybody thought he was going to be a 1,500-yard rusher, multiple touchdowns, 15 to 20 touchdowns a season. That's out the window. It's right now when it comes to and Saquon Barkley, he's been quiet a lot this season. Saquon Barkley's been quiet. Philly just lost in Denver in a tough matchup. I did not predict that Philly would go down. I thought they would go to 5-0. You know what I'm saying? At home. It's hard to win in Lincoln Financial. But Denver came in there and they got it done. But see, Saquon has been quiet this season. So basically, it's Jonathan Taylor, the running back from Buffalo, Cooks, and then it's everybody else, in my opinion. Jonathan Taylor, the running back from Buffalo, and everybody else. The two best running backs in the NFL. Las Vegas Raiders 1-4. And the Colts 4-1. The Colts gets the win in big time fashion. 40-6. Then we gotta go to the Giants. All the hype and all the smoke. And listen, bro. I should have picked up a bag so big. I should have picked up a bag so big on Sunday. I literally called all these freaking games. I literally picked every game. I literally picked it. But I can't seem to put the games that need to be picked on the same ticket when you're doing the parlays. I'm just going to have to go back and do my single bet and run it up because this is ridiculous, man. I literally picked all these games. I picked the Vikings. I picked the Colts. I picked the Saints This is the game that lost me though. The Cowboys and the Jets. But the Saints get their first win now. Everybody's talking about Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, the rookie, he comes in. Ooh. Then he comes out against the Saints, a team that really the Giants should have been able to beat. The Saints winless. They get their first win at home and hand Jackson Dart his first loss. And the Giants dropped to 1-4. We just talked about that. The Giants suck. If you think that Jackson Dart is going to be the savior of the Giants, you have another thing coming. You have another thing coming. Trying to find my box score. I don't want to say the game recap. Get the box score up here. Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart comes back off of his spaceship and back down to earth against the New Orleans Saints. And Daboll is really, these teams, man, they really, it baffles me, the game plans and the things that they come in and they ask these young quarterbacks to do, man. And I can't put it all on Dart. But he threw the ball 40 freaking times, man. It's too much for a rookie in the NFL. You're going up against guys like DeMario Davis. Okay? You're going up against guys like Cam Jordan. Okay? Kool-Aid McKinstry in the secondary. I mean, come on, man. You asking this guy to throw the ball entirely too many times. You asking him to throw the ball too many. You asking the man to throw the ball too many times, man. 40 attempts, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Bring the man back off his high horse and back down to earth. But when you look at the backfield, you got Cam Scatterboo, man. This guy, Scatterboo, I like him. I like how he runs the football, but he's not a every down back. He's not fast. He's not quick like that. He's like a Allscott. You remember Mike Allscott for Tampa Bay? He's that type of runner. But you also need your work done if you're New York. And I see what they may be trying to do. But if you're going to have Scatterboo in the backfield, you need to have your thunder and your lightning. Okay? He's just the thunder. You got to get your lightning in the backfield. You got to get a scat back, man. And that could take some pressure off of a Jackson Dart. And you won't ask him to have the ball in his hands 40 attempts plus 7 carries. 47 times you ask this man to try to deliver for you in a football game. And he's a rookie out of Ole Miss. Yes, he's been coached. Yes, he played under Lane Kiffin. Yes, we understand that he's been, asked to step into this role. But make no mistake about it, Russell Wilson, yes, he's had his issues as well with the New York Giants. But make no mistake about it, Jackson Dart is not a better football player right now than Russell Wilson. But I do get it. You drafted him high. You want to get him ready, and when you're out there in the line of fire, it forces you to get ready. It's either going to make you or it's going to break you. You're going to become a diamond, or you're going to become just a piece of dirt that didn't never form into the diamond. You know what I mean? So this is what I think is going on. But like I said, man, Brian Daboll, these guys got to go, man. And I got no stake in New York Giants. I have no stake. I'm not a New York Giants fan. Never have been. But I'm just saying, as far as when you're a fan, okay, and I'm just saying, if I was a fan of the New York Giants, or if I was a player in that, I'm like, hey, man, we can't continue to go down this pathway. And they've been doing it year after year after year after year. And no matter who they put in there at quarterback, they're not able to get anything done. They're 1-4 right now. They're sitting at 1-4, the bottom of the division, when they definitely should have been 2-4, because the New Orleans Saints, they're not good either. So my thing is, the common denominator, the common X factor is Brian Daboll. You got to think about it. Daniel Jones left New York, goes to the Colts, wins the starting job, and he's 4-1. Meanwhile, the team that he just left is still 1-4. Everybody thought it was Daniel Jones. How could it be Daniel Jones if Daniel Jones is a starter elsewhere and they're winning? It has to be the common denominator there in New York. And nobody seems to be talking about it. Nobody. Daboll is getting such a pass in New York. How? New York is supposed to be the hardest place to play, the hardest place to coach. Nobody is saying anything about Daboll. It is crickets. They're trying to find a scapegoat. Who was it? It was Russell Wilson. Jackson Dart came in after they benched Russell Wilson. Last week, he gets the win. He played very well. And he bought Daboll some more time. But look, against the Saints, it was smoke and mirrors. What are you doing? Anyway, I digress. Spend more time talking about these losers than the team that actually won their freaking game. The New Orleans Saints get their first win of the season. Spencer Rattler, 21 of 31, 225 yards at the touchdown. Alvin Kamara, I don't know what's going on, man. He comes out there, he has the dreads, he has the QC chain. QC itself has lost his thunder, of course. The whole rap industry is suffering. He comes out there repping QC, and he's playing like DD. Alvin Kamara's playing like doo-doo, man. Trash, garbage, BFI, waste management. Kendrick Miller comes in. He gets the ball 10 times, 41 yards, 4.1 yards per carry. But you got to take Spencer Rattler. What? He's in his second year with New Orleans. He's a young quarterback. Taysom Hill's his first time coming back off of that injury that he suffered. But seeing him come out there and take a couple of snaps, have a couple of plays for New Orleans, I think it's a breath of fresh air because he brings a different energy to their offense. Kamara used to be that bell cow. What you call those running backs that run the ball 25 times in a game, catch it out the backfield. He used to be one of those type of guys, man. Something has happened. Is it the offensive line not giving him enough space there to block? Is it the running concepts? The running, what's the issue with Kamara? But for me, he's a shell of himself in New Orleans. But nonetheless, the Saints did get the win. Spencer Rattler did enough to beat Jackson Dart in that matchup. Chris Olave had 7 catches. Rashid Shaheed, he had 4 catches and a touchdown for the Saints. Defensively, Cam Jordan, he got a fumble recovery. And that's the issue, of course, with the Giants. They had 3 fumbles in the game. So you're not going to win from turn the ball over 3 times. But again, I say, man, I think it's day ball. But the New Orleans Saints get their first win of the season, 26-14 over the Giants. Yeah, we had a hell of a slate, man, yesterday. A lot of teams who won that we thought that they shouldn't have won. The Saints was one of them. Cowboys, Jets. The Jets remain the worst team in the NFL right now. They're 0-5. The Cowboys go to 2-1 after they get tied last week. But the Jets. Now this was the game that fooled me because the Jets were 1-point favorites after the Cowboys had played such a huge game, and they end up with the tie last week. So the Jets come in as the favorite, and Vegas tricked me because I'm like, why are the Jets favorite? Nobody's going to take the Jets. So I took the Jets, and they baited me. They freaking baited me, and I freaking lost because Dak Prescott was phenomenal once again as the Cowboys beat the New York Jets 37-22. And that score doesn't even do the game justice because at halftime, man, it was 23-3. The Jets looked absolutely horrible. All the 16 garbage points they had on the fourth quarter, man, it's a lot to do about nothing. Justin Fields, he's been sacked 5 times. But he did get the 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 283 yards. Not a bad day for Justin Fields. I just think that, you have to get more points. When you look at that stat line right here, you see the second quarter here, where you give up 20 points and you get nothing. That's going to put you in such a hole that it's hard to come out of. You have to answer some of these scores. And also defensively, you can't give up, 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter. You can't do that. Quinnen Williams. I haven't heard Sauce Gardner name all year. But this defense, I think a year ago, or maybe was it 2 years ago, when they acquired Aaron Rodgers, they were talking about this defense as it was one of the best defenses in the NFL. They have not played like it at all. 0-5. I'm gonna tell you who's the best defense in the NFL. That's the Houston Texans. Houston hadn't won but a couple of games this season. Before winning last week, I mean they were winners. They were at 0-3. But each game that they lost, they only lost by 1 point. One score, and it was low scoring games. They're not giving up points. Houston Texans, they have a defense. The Jets, hell no. You giving up 37 points against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, they're down their number one receiver. So Dak Prescott is playing like the best quarterback in the NFL. He's definitely the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the NFC. Right now, I would probably say that Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFC right now. 4 touchdowns on the day, 237 passing yards. Also, Javonte Williams running the football, man. This guy is running hard. He is absolutely coming along as a guy that we need to kind of look at running the football. 135 yards, 1 touchdown for Javonte Williams against, as we said on paper, a New York defense who's supposed to be pretty good. But yeah, the Cowboys, man, they are back once again. They go to 2-2 on the season, 2-1. I just want to see where the Cowboys are in this division, how they're looking right now. How they're looking. Where is that division? We look at the standings here. They are 3rd in the NFC East. And they are right behind Washington Commanders and, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles. They got their first loss at home against the Broncos on yesterday. So, yeah, obviously the NFC East is always going to come down. The champion is always going to come down to the last game of the season pretty much. But the Cowboys, they put themselves right back in the mix with that win on Sunday. But Dak Prescott, man, once again, he's playing like Dak is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Like he's definitely up there. Our number 4, number 88. What are they talking about here? Let's just see what Chris Canty and Evan and Michelle Smallman, what they talked about right here when it came down to the Dallas Cowboys.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! It's time to level up your game.
That's 45 minutes.
All new ESPN app. All of ESPN.
That's the whole show.
You would love it. But
I'm not finna listen to that whole show. I thought they was finna give a Cowboys take. I'm not finna listen to that whole show. Nah, we're not doing that. But anyway, like I said, man, shit. Cowboys are back in it. They're back in it. They got the Panthers coming up this week. Should be an easy win for the Cowboys right there. And then they go into the division matchup against the Commanders on the following week. So we'll be watching out for that. But Dak Prescott, man, you have to give Dak his props right now. 18 of 29, 237 yards, 4 touchdowns. Those 4 touchdowns for Dak Prescott, you know what we'll do? We'll clip it and book it. And Dak Prescott will be considered for our player of the week for week 5 of the NFL. Dak Prescott is 2nd in passing yards in this league with 1,356 yards, 10 touchdowns, tied for 3rd, and only 3 interceptions so far on the season. That puts the 4th round pick out of Mississippi State in 2016 as one of the top quarterbacks in this league this year. We'll go from there, of course. To the Broncos and the Eagles. A lot of folks have been talking, and listen, what is going to happen is it's going to be more talk in Philly about what's going on with this offense. I mean, you got Jalen Hurts, you got Saquon Barkley, you got Devontae Smith. Okay, you got number 11 out there at wide receiver. What is going on with this offense? Jalen Hurts, 23 of. Hold on one second. Jalen Hurts, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Those are very, very good numbers. I mean, if they get the win, then we don't have anything really to talk about. Bo Nix, 242 yards. He had the touchdown there. J.K. Dobbins, 20 carries, 79 yards and a touchdown. And here is one of your problems. Saquon Barkley only carried the ball 6 times. Saquon Barkley only carried the ball 6 times. First of all, when you look at this box score, and like I said, man, I don't even have to watch these games. And I can tell you kind of what's going on just by looking at the numbers. When you look at it at halftime, Philly is up 10-3. Going into the fourth quarter, Philly is up 17-3 going into the fourth quarter. They gave up 18 unanswered points to the Denver Broncos in the fourth quarter, and they lose the game 21-17. So here's the issue. If you're going into the fourth quarter and you're up 14-7, how come Saquon Barkley not running the football and running time off the clock? You're still asking Jalen Hurts to try to throw the ball down the field. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It is ridiculous. Saquon Barkley should have had at least 20 touches if you're going into halftime with the lead. You're going into the third quarter with the lead. You're going into the fourth quarter with the lead. Saquon Barkley should be running that ball and running clock. That's why the Eagles lost this game. Devontae Smith had 8 receptions. A.J. Brown, 5 catches. So A.J. Brown is not going to be complaining as much about his opportunities. But definitely in a game like this where win and loss is on the line, and obviously you'll still be leading the division because you were the only undefeated team that was left besides in the NFC, the only undefeated team left in the NFL besides Buffalo Bills. But at the same time, you have to run Saquon Barkley. I just talked about this earlier. I just talked about it. When I talked about the Indianapolis Colts and what Jonathan Taylor is doing in Indianapolis, running the football. Where's Saquon Barkley? He's supposed to be the best running back in the league. Is this the Madden curse that we're seeing coming to fruition right before our eyes? Okay, when he on the cover of Madden doing the backwards leap over the defender, wasn't that part of the Madden cover? Are we seeing that play before our eyes right now? Because Saquon has been non-existent since the start of the season. When we look at the numbers of Saquon Barkley, thanks ESPN for all of your due diligence, getting all this information and all these stats for us. He's 4th in the league in carries. Obviously, you would think, I would think that he would be nowhere near 4th in carries, especially looking at that box score right there. We only had 6 rushing attempts against the Denver Broncos. Going into halftime with the lead, going into the third quarter with the lead, going into the fourth quarter with the lead, and you're not handing the ball off to your future Hall of Fame running back out of Penn State? Makes no sense. He is 22nd in yards, only 267 yards, only 3 touchdowns so far this season. Saquon Barkley is not the Saquon Barkley that we were expected to see. He was not. Nobody from the Eagles roster did anything when it comes to rushing the football. They had a team total of 45 yards. Absolutely ridiculous when you got the lead. Ridiculous. This is why they lost the game. I am not an Eagles fan, but all you Eagles fans, point point to that as the reason why you lost. You're not running the football enough with a lead. Run the clock. What are you doing? We have to talk about the Broncos and Bo Nix. They bounced back after a devastating loss on last week. They were able to bounce back today. Bo Nix. Did they lose last week? No, I'm sorry. They won last week. They played the freaking Bengals. Of course they won. But they lost against the Chargers and the Colts. Those are two games that really, they lost by 4 points total in those games. But both of those teams really are playing a lot better than anybody expected, especially the Colts. But the Broncos, they could make some noise here. They just beat the Eagles, the number one team in the NFC. They got the Jets. They got the Giants coming up. Hey, listen. Hey, they first in the West. Hey, man, by the time they face the Cowboys on the 26th, this team could be 5-2. Could be 5-2, one in their division, ready to knock off the Cowboys on CBS. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. And listen, the Broncos are one of those teams that kind of flying under the radar right now, but it seems like they'll be right there at the end of the season with the chance to win this division. I want to look at this division. I want to look at the AFC West because obviously most people pick the Chiefs to win that division. And I want to see if the Chiefs, do they have a chance? Which they do. The Chiefs, they bounce back. Okay, they're 2-2. Broncos sitting there at 3-2. Got the Chargers sitting there at 3-2. Vegas, I mean, they're done. They're not going to compete for this division. They can't compete for this division. They don't even really have a quarterback. Geno Smith, he will not last as the quarterback for Vegas. Not playing the way that he's playing. He's damn near leading the league in interceptions right now. He's just not the answer. I wouldn't be surprised if Pete Carroll came out this week and said, "Hey man, we got to switch it up. We got to switch it up." But really, you don't know who he's going to go to. O'Connell, okay, or Kenny Pickett. Like, I mean, so I see why they're sticking with him for so long. They may need to go out in free agency or trade for somebody or something. But Geno Smith, man, I mean, the Raiders, they're done. They're done. But Denver, they will be right there, and this division is going to go down to the wire. But the toughest division in the AFC, the toughest division probably is the West. Yeah, the West is the toughest division with their top three teams going to be fighting for. Everybody except for Vegas, they're just horrible. But you got the Chargers, the Broncos, the Chiefs. Those three teams, as a collective, those three teams are better than any other three teams in any of these other divisions. If you look at the top three teams in the AFC, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cincinnati, every time I hear Cincinnati Bengals, I just, no. I mean, because you have these expectations going into the season. You're thinking Joe Burrow is going to be there. You got Joe Burrow, you got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins. We like, okay, man, we finna see some football. These guys are going to put on a show every week. We're going to see some points. We're going to see some touchdowns. But we're not getting any of that. They can't keep a quarterback healthy in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is injury prone. We was talking about this guy as a future Hall of Fame, but you can't be that if you cannot stay healthy. You cannot stay on the football field. Look at these three teams: Buffalo, New England, and Miami. Miami Dolphins. You know, they lost Tyreek Hill, dislocated knee, I think, the other night. So he wasn't available for Miami, and they lose this week against the Carolina Panthers. I picked that game, by the way. I should have had my money on it. Didn't even bet the game. But yeah, those three teams, no. And you know what New York Jets are? They're nothing. They're not doing anything. And I hate to say it, man. You had the black head coach over there, man. He's on the clock, man. They got to get some wins, man. The fact that they were favored against Dallas on Sunday, I think it's a bit unfair. They should have been at least 10-point dogs in that game. I don't know what the hell Vegas was thinking when that line came out. It made absolutely no sense. They were playing off of smart, sharp type bettors to take the bait, and I think a lot of them did, because I was one of them that took the Jets in that game just based off the line that Vegas gave. They gave them the favorite, and I'm like, okay, well, Vegas must know something. And usually Vegas is right a lot of these times. But that was just a trap game, and they trapped a lot of us. So we just chalked that up. We'll figure it out as the season go along. But those three teams, AFC, they're not. I think maybe the second best division in the league would be the AFC South. I mean, you got the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Texans. They're turning it around. And like I told you, the Texans are one of those teams that a lot of people are sleeping on right now because they started out the season at 0-3. They started out at 0-3 and started out slow. But when you look at the Texans and what they was able to do in those three losses, they're not giving up a lot of points. If I had to guess right now, the Texans are the number one defense in the entire NFL. If I had to guess. Matter of fact, we ain't even got to guess. ESPN, they do a great job keeping up with these things. So let's see what ESPN has to say about the best defense in the league. Yards allowed. Houston Texans are number 3, only allowing 265 yards per game. What do we got going on right here? Get this shit out of my face. That shit out of my face. What are you doing? Dang, every time you try to do something, you got the devil show up and try to show out, but you're not going to do it here. Get out of my face. Defensive. I'm trying to get defensive points. Defensive points. Points per game. Points per game. Let's go to complete leaders. Defense. We see points. Here we go. Points per game. Defense. Houston Texans, what did I tell you? Houston Texans are the number 1 defensive team in the NFL. And defense wins championship. This team only gives up 12.2 points a game. So that's what I'm saying. Those losses, they only lost by a total of, they had 3 losses. I think the total for all 3 losses was what? Like 14 points or something like that? For 3 games? Like, this team is legit defensively. They are legit defensively. They are number 1 in defense points. They've only given up 61 points this whole season through 5 games. That's the Houston Texans. So that division is going to be very, very interesting, and we're going to keep a watch on on that division. But the Denver Broncos, man, they get the win over the Eagles 21-17. Dolphins and Panthers. This is another game that we just talked about that I call. The Panthers had to come back from behind, score 14 in the fourth quarter to win this game. Now, the Panthers 2-3 so far this season. You know, we're not expecting a lot out of the Panthers. We're not expecting them to make the playoffs or anything like that. But to see Bryce Young, like I said, I always root for these guys like Bryce Young who don't have a whole lot of talent around them. He's not the prototypical type of quarterback, but he's still able to go out here and compete and make a team better. And I think he makes this team better because, I mean, who else could go out there and beat the Dolphins? And the Dolphins just came off of their first win last week, and you're the Panthers. I don't think as many quarterbacks that could have led the Panthers down here to get this win. Tua Tagovailoa, 256 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. He didn't play bad. But you got to look at Bryce Young, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have the 1 interception there. But the Russian, Rico Dowdle, 206 yards and a touchdown. Clip it and book it. Rico Dowdle as a clip it and book it player of the week consideration. Oh my goodness. 206 yards. I did not know that. I didn't, because like I said, I ain't watched this game. But that is the tale of the game. The run defense for the Miami Dolphins could not get a handle on Rico Dowdle. 23 attempts, 9 yards per carry for Carolina. And conversely, on the other side, A-Chain coming into this league, into this season, he's supposed to be one of the top running backs in the league. He only got 16 yards against the Carolina Panthers defense. I mean, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. They only had 19 rushing yards as a team. You cannot win games like that. You have to be balanced offensively and defensively. Man, the NFL, not just the NFL, college, high school, youth football, but football in general, you have to play the game the right way if you think that you're going to be one of those type of teams that's going to be able to win championships and are going to be in the conversation. Like, you got to play the game the right way. You got to be balanced. I mean, you can't, from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, from a GM standpoint, from any standpoint that you can look at, from a fan standpoint, you got to keep everybody happy. You got to. Otherwise, you're going to sow discord amongst the team, amongst the troops, the ones that's going to go out there and go to battle. They're going to be infighting. They're going to be a disdain. There's going to be, like, even with the fan base, it's going to be a little bit of, oh, what are we doing? Like if it's 4th and 10 in your territory and you go for it. It's like, that's not the game. It's going to bite you. Even if you convert. People look at you like you're a genius, but the game gods are going to punish you because you're not playing the game the right way. You're not playing the game the right way. It's just like me. Let's say if I'm playing Madden and I'm playing online and I'm playing against a guy. We playing, it's 4th and 15 and he's at his own 25-yard line and he go for it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm finna beat him. I'm gonna beat him. Even if he converts, because the game gods don't play that shit. They don't play that. Just like this Miami game. You ran the ball 14 times, you only got 19 yards. That's not a balanced game. The game gods are gonna eat you alive, bro. The game guy said, we have this thing called running. Have you ever heard of that? While you dropping back, throwing 50 times? You ever heard of a running game? You better balance this thing out, or the game gods are gonna kill you. It's 3 phases of the game, ladies and gentlemen. 3 phases. The game gods are gonna kill you. You better run that football. If you're a team that like to run that football, but you're not passing that football, you better figure out a way. You better play action. You better bootleg. You better do something to put that ball in the air. You can't run the ball 100 times in a game and think you're gonna win. No. You better find a way to balance this thing out, or the game guys are going to kill you. It just is what it is. And this is just coming from a guy who's only watched football for 40-something years. I've been said, the fuck? Yes, this is how the game goes. It's 3 phases. Offense, defense, special teams. And there's also phases within the phase. On the offensive phase, you have other phases. You have passing, rushing. Okay, balance, and you even within the phase of passing, you have to have balance in passing, because if I'm gonna pass the ball 50 times, I just can't pass it to one player every freaking time. The game guys are going to kill you. You have to show the love. You have to spread the ball around. You dig what I'm saying? This is the balance that I'm talking about. And the game guys seem to love that balance. But Carolina 27-24, and they get the win. And like I said, guys like Bryce Young, even Tua, I kind of root for Tua as well. He's not the prototype quarterback, but he's able to get in there. He threw for the 3 touchdowns, but they weren't able to get the win because, like I said, you got no balance. You got no balance there. So they drop down to 1-4. Carolina are undefeated at home. They go to 2-3 so far in the season. Rico Dowdle, like I said, the Clip It and Book It consideration for Player of the Week, 206 yards and a touchdown for Carolina Panthers. Like I said, man, we had a lot of games, man, that went a certain way that a lot of people didn't expect. And the Panthers was one of them. I know a lot of people had the Dolphins picked, especially coming off that win that they had in the game where they lost Tyreek Hill. But this game right here, it shocked a lot of people. It didn't shock me other than the fact that Lamar was out. And I thought since Lamar was out, you know how Vegas tend to do a lot of times when you got a star player out, a lot of people picks the opposite team. But the team with the star player out somehow covers or wins the game. But it wasn't this case, man. Like I said, the Texans, man, with their lights out defense held the Baltimore Ravens. Even though they're without their star quarterback, Lamar Jackson, they still held them to only 10 points, which I think is surprising to a lot of people. But C.J. Stroud, man, with his 4 touchdowns, 244 yards passing on the day. We can clip it and book C.J. Stroud for our Clip It and Book It Player of the Week. Nick Chubb, 11 carries, 61 yards and the touchdown. And do you see what I'm saying about balance? Do you see the balance that I'm talking about right here? This is balance. This is a very balanced team in the Houston Texans. And even once the game is out of hand and it's out of reach, what did they do? They even let their backup quarterback in and get a little bit of burn. He threw for 23 yards, 2 for 4 on completions for the game. So he was able to, even the backup was able to get out there and get a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, mom, hey, dad, look at me. I'm doing my thing out here. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what I mean when I say balance. Look at the running balance for for Houston. Look at this balance. Look at it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different rushers for the Texans. 33 carries for the team, 167 yards for the rushing phase of the offense for the Texans. This is the balance that I'm talking about. Not to mention the receivers. Look, Houston completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They completed 25 passes. No. 25 passes to 8 different receivers. Nick Chubb and Woody, they only got targets. But even though they didn't catch the ball, that's still balanced because we giving opportunities out. You know what I'm saying? Opportunities. But that's what I mean when I talk about balance. You're spreading the ball around. Different players getting opportunities. You know what I'm saying? In the running game. But when you look at the Baltimore, they just didn't have it. They just don't have it. They don't have that same balance. And a lot of teams in the NFL don't have that same balance. And we pointed it out here today in this show. Houston Texans 2-3. They're in a tough division. We know that this division is going to go down to the wire, but like I said, Houston Texans, they have the absolute best defense in the NFL. And let me tell you, it ain't even close. It's not even close. Denver's defense, they play well. They play well. I must say they do play well, but they're not close to the Texans. And when we look at teams like Baltimore, you're like, what happened to their defense? They used to hang their hat on defense. Now, I know they got some injuries. I think Queen went down last week. I don't know if he played this week, but they've had some injuries with their team on defense. So we can say, we could say that may be an issue with what's going on in Baltimore with their defense. But Houston defense, man, they've been playing lights out all season long, even with 3 losses. Their defense was not the reason why they lost any of those games. But the Texans get the win 44-10, absolutely destroy the Ravens. The Titans, here we go. Talk about the Tennessee Titans. They get their first win of the season, and the number 1 overall draft pick, Cam Ward, gets his first win of his career, and the Titans avoid going 0-5, get their first win of the season against Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. And I know this one caught everybody off guard. Nobody expected Cam Ward to go into Phoenix and beat Kyler Murray's little explosive firecracker that he is out there in Arizona. And Kyler Murray is one of the guys that, really is capable of getting things done. I mean, we've seen him, be able to escape pressure, throw the ball, put it where it needs to be. And like I said, he's not the prototypical type of quarterback. So I always, give grace and give props to these guys because, like I said, there really is no prototype. This is all figment of these guys' imaginations. There's no prototype. It is just, can you do it or can you not? That's it. But they lose by 1 point against the Tennessee Titans. Like I said, Cam Ward, 265 yards there, no touchdowns. He did have an interception. Kyler Murray, 220 yards. And Mario DeMarcado, 3 carries, 81 yards for Arizona. We did see some balance out of Arizona. They had 29 29 rushing attempts. Tennessee had 24 rushing attempts. We did see that balance from both teams, which we like to see. It's probably why we see a close game right there. If we look at the box score. But the key to this game and the reason why Arizona lost, it wasn't so much of what Tennessee did. To me, it's what Arizona did. They hurt themselves with those 3 lost fumbles right there. And when you look at those 3 lost fumbles, the one that hurt them the most was the Amari DeMarcado fumble where he done broke. He's about to score the football. He's about to score the football, and before he gets into the end zone, he slows up, raises up, and then he just drops the football. He drops the football, and it's a touchback for the Titans, and that's what cost them the game. See, watch this clip right here. This is what cost. This is what cost the Titans the football game. So I'm gonna cue this play up real quick for you. And you can see what I'm talking about. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And we've seen this happen year in and year out with guys. And why do they do this? I have no clue.
First down, DeMarcado.
Look at him. He's gone.
The races, 20.
Now watch him.
10. Touchdown.
Oh, did he drop it early? Boy, that's going to be close.
Why did you do that?
He extended it with his hand a little bit.
Did Sneed's trying to say that he got the ball out. Wow.
You see him kind of put it on his fingertips, but did he have control, Arch, before that thing broke the plane?
You see what I'm saying? And that's what cost them the game.
Stunning.
Why did you do that? I don't understand. Why do you do that? Listen, when you teaching running backs how to run the football, what do you teach them? Most coaches are going to teach them you run through the end zone. You run through the end zone. Like if you're teaching a guy to run a 40-yard dash, you don't tell them to slow up before they cross the line. You tell them to run through the line, run through the 40. Run through it. You don't pull up. You got to understand. And then he running, he looking up. I know he sees Sneed behind him. You got the Jumbotron right in front of you. So why are you doing this? You know what I mean? And when things like that happen, that's when we all say, oh, shit, Vegas done paid somebody off or some shit like that. We looking at it like, man. But you got to look at it. And this is what I said just a little bit earlier. The game guys, they don't play that shit, man. Listen, they don't play that bullshit, bro. This is real. This is real. Arizona Cardinals, they lose a tough one. Really, that play right there is really what lost them the game.
Try this for a clean line.
That play right there is really what lost them the game.
Is delivered. And some things have just got to go.
Don't worry, these will go quick.
I see some.
I wonder if I can link to her.
But that play is what really lost them the game right there. The Cardinals, like I said, Cam Ward gets his first win of the season, 22-21. Now, the Seahawks and the Buccaneers. I'm going to say this. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong about this. But Baker Mayfield is probably the second best quarterback in the NFC right now behind Dak Prescott. Yeah, I said it. Baker Mayfield has been playing lights out, man, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 379 yards, 2 touchdowns, 29 of 33 on the day. That means he's only had 4 incompletions on the whole day. And they get the win 38-35 over a team in the Seahawks who's been playing pretty much on fire all season long behind their quarterback. What's the damn boy name? Shit. He just came from Minnesota. Shit. Anyway, his name won't come to me in just a second. I'm gonna pull it up. Sam Darnold. Shit. But Baker Mayfield has been playing like he's one of those ones, man. Baker Mayfield has been playing lights out. So we're going to clip it and book Baker Mayfield's 379 yards, 2 touchdowns as consideration for the player of the week this week. And Sam Darnold, man, he would have had consideration as well, 4 touchdowns, 341 yards. But if you don't win, you can't get in. Rashad White, 14 carries, 44 yards. Team rushing for the Bucks had 24 carries, 56 yards. I don't think that's enough normally as far as balance to get the win. But obviously it had to be some turnovers there. Yeah, of course, Sam Darnold had the 1 interception there. Maybe a couple of fumbles. Milroe lost the fumble. Probably came in as a wildcat type of quarterback. He didn't touch the field again after that, I bet. Fumbled and lost it. And that's probably the turning point in the game. Like that was cost the game for Seattle. But nonetheless, man, Tampa Bay, they go to 4-1 and Seattle 3-2. We go back and we look at that NFC division in the South, the NFC. We could look at Tampa Bay. They lead that division, and they are at the top alone right now. And it's a foregone conclusion when you look at teams like Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay is going to win this division. The Falcons, they have issues. They don't have as many issues as Carolina or New Orleans. New Orleans just got their first win at 1-4. The Falcons can probably be one team that could maybe string a few wins together. With Michael Penix there at quarterback for the Falcons. And he has a lot of weapons. I mean, Drake London and Kyle Pitts and the top 10 running back they picked a couple of years ago out of Texas. I mean, they have on paper an offense that should be able to make some things happen. But they're 2-2 right now. It remains to be seen if they'll be able to threaten Tampa Bay for this division. But right now, man, in my opinion, the way Baker's playing, he's the second best quarterback in the NFC right now. And in my opinion, Tampa Bay is going to win this division. Right now, they stand at 4-1. The Falcons are 2, maybe 2.5 games back right now with 2 losses and only 2 wins. And listen, Baker Mayfield, he's playing lights out, dog. He playing lights out, and he's one of those ones I see. And I keep going back to this. There is no prototype. Baker Mayfield, he's an under 6 foot guy, and he's playing as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna do me a ranking. I'm gonna do a power ranking for every. I'm gonna do like a top 10 power ranking for quarterbacks in the NFL. As of right now, of course, it could change from week to week depending on how these guys play. But Baker Mayfield is right up there, definitely, in my opinion. He has to be top 5 or 6. Top 5 or 6, yeah, I would think so right now. But Tampa Bay, they get the win, 38-35. They're leading their division. Seattle, on the other hand, let's see where they are in their division here. Let's see. Because Sam Darnold, man, he come to Seattle and he resurrect his career. He's playing well. And this division is one of the tougher divisions in football. San Francisco, Seattle, LA, Arizona. I think this division will probably go down to the wire. Now, Arizona should have been 3-2 if they'd have put out their win against the Texans, and that would have had that division a lot more tighter. But nonetheless, Seattle is second in the division behind the 49ers. The 49ers got a little bit of quarterback controversy right there. But two quarterbacks that are playing well, so I don't see how that is a problem for them. Brock Purdy been kind of, hampering with a couple of, little knick-knack injuries the last couple of weeks. But he did get his money. And so we do expect him to be the starter once he's healthy. But Mac Jones is really making a case for him to be elsewhere, so he can probably get a contract somewhere else, man, to be a starter. And the way he's playing, man, he's playing like a starting quarterback in the NFL and not a backup. He's really making people wonder, like, damn, should we go back to Purdy or not? The way he's been playing. But Sam Darnold has been playing well. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC. I say behind guys like Baker Mayfield and of course Dak Prescott and Jordan Love. You probably have to throw Sam Darnold in there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely playing pretty well. Of course, you got Jared Goff in Detroit. But the Seahawks, they have been playing well this season, and I think it caught a lot of people off guard the way that they're playing. I don't know, because they started off the season, and like I said, only 3 points. They could have been 4-1 right now and tied for the lead in the West. You know what I'm saying? They could have been 4-1. Yeah, they could have been 4-1. But anytime Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield come to town, man, you just never know. And Tampa Bay goes to 4-1. Seattle drops down to 3-2, and the Bucs get the win, 38-35. The Lions and the Bengals. The Bengals, they put up a lot of garbage time touchdowns in the fourth quarter to kind of try to make it like it was a game, but it never was a game. The Lions, they pretty much dominated these boys from start to finish. I think it was a little bit of mercy that the Lions had on them, knowing that they, are missing their starting quarterback and things like that, and Jamar Chase. These guys, man, are not able to, they're just not able to do what they like. The offense is not the same without your starting quarterback. It's just simple as that. The Lions go to 4-1, leading their division. The Bengals dropped to 2-3. They start out the season 2-0 for the first time in a while. Then Joe Burrow goes down. The season looks promising until that point when Joe Burrow goes down, and then now all of a sudden, it's almost like the lights get turned off in the building. Jared Goff, 258 yards, 3 touchdowns. Montgomery, 18 carries, 65 yards and a touchdown. We see the balanced attack that Detroit, was able to show. You know what I'm saying? 18 carries for their running back. I mean, anytime, like I said, when you see that balance, you're gonna see a team, have a chance pretty much, definitely every time when they have that balance, offense, defense, special teams. And then it's balanced within each one of those phases as well. The Washington Commanders get the win after Jay Daniels returns to his quarterbacking duties for the Commanders. The Commanders go to 3-2, and the Chargers drop to 3-10. Both teams, I think, are still formidable. We didn't see enough offense from from the Chargers. I think a lot of people expected more from Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is one of those guys that I think he gets a pass a lot based on, I think, the way he makes it look. You know what I mean? And I think you can make that position, like you could do everything right and make it look good. But if you're not getting the results, and then people tend to point elsewhere because they like, damn, he's doing what he's supposed to do. But he just don't have that thing to make these guys tick, to make these guys want to get up and fight and just run through a brick wall and win some of these games. This is a game at home where the Chargers absolutely supposed to win. They supposed to protect home field. They supposed to go out there and not let a young quarterback like Jaden Daniels come in and get a win at their expense. I can't fathom it. Justin Herbert, 22 or 23. Like I said, he goes out there and he kind of does his job. But something is happening there with the Chargers. Maybe he got hurt because I see Trey Lance came in and he threw the ball 4 times for the Chargers. I don't know what's that about because, like I said, I didn't watch the game. The Chargers, they drafted a running back high in the draft, Omarion Hampton, out of North Carolina. He ran the ball 12 times for 44 yards. But we see the balance with Washington. Jaden Daniels, 231 yards, had the touchdown. They had 111 yards on the ground from Krosky Merritt. 2 touchdowns, Clip It and Book It for Krosky Merritt as one of our Clip It and Book It consideration for Player of the Week. Deebo Samuels had 8 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown for the Commanders as well. To add to what they were able to do, the Commanders get the win 27-10. Let me tell y'all something, man. Justin Herbert, we looked at him, man, in his career. I said it's the third, maybe second, third, fourth year as he is a potential Hall of Fame caliber type quarterback. But, man, he has not been able to get it done. He has not been able to get this team to win a division, like to do anything in playoffs. I don't know if they have they won the division since he's been there. I mean, what is going on, man? And he's had plenty of weapons. And they just added a weapon, like I said, Omarion Hampton, a top draft pick out of North Carolina. You got Keenan Allen, you got McConkey, you got Tyler Conklin. Like, he has weapons. So you're gonna have to start to see a little bit more out of Justin Herbert. And really, not just as performance, but as a leader and helping this team get the job done as far as winning some of these games that they supposed to win. Even with the loss, they still lead that division. But you can best believe with the Broncos defense, they're second in the NFL, and Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, this guy's gonna be out of here. You lose a non-divisional game to the Redskins, whose quarterback hadn't played in 2 weeks. You're supposed to be able to win that game if you're Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers. Because, like I said, that will give you a little cushion in that division. You'd have still been 4-1. Instead, you're 3-2, tied with Denver Broncos. And if you're tied, then I say the tie goes to Denver because they have the better defense. And then if you're tied with Kansas City, I say Kansas City wins the tie because they have the better quarterback. So you can't leave this thing up to people's interpretation. You have to leave it on the field. You have to put the numbers up. You have to put the wins in the win column. And that's why I say, man, just based on that loss, man, I think the Chargers are going to be done in this division. I don't think they can. They definitely can't win this division. I don't think they can win this division. Not with Denver, not the way Denver's defense is playing, and not with Kansas City. I think next week Rashee Rice is off of his suspension and he'll be back for Kansas City. That's another weapon for Pat Mahomes. Like, Nah, it's not going to end well for Justin Herbert. It's not going to end well for Justin Herbert. I'm sorry. They will not win this division. The Chargers go down 27-10. Commanders get the win. And guys, we have our final game of the night between the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. The New England Patriots shock the whole NFL football world, and they knock off and hand the Bills their first loss of the season, 23-20. Drake made 273 yards for the Patriots. Josh Allen led the Bills in rushing, 9 carries, 53 yards, and that is the issue right there. I talked about James Cook earlier. James Cook, 15 carries, 49 yards. That's a little decent. That's decent. That's decent. I can't take that away. But all in all, they held their running game in check. Forced Josh Allen to throw an interception. I watched a lot of this game last night, man, and I just saw a lot of fumbles, a lot of turnovers, a lot of inadvertent type of turnovers that were going on both sides of the football. And it really kind of turned me off because it's like, guys, you got to protect the football. What are you doing? What the hell is going on out here? Look at this. Josh Allen had a fumble, lost fumble. Keon Coleman had a lost fumble. Ramondre had a fumble. He lost one. Antonio Gibson had a fumble. So you had 4 fumbles. Then you had interception. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. A lot of guys just all willy-nilly with the football. I picked Buffalo to win that game. It was a 7.5 point spread for Buffalo, favorite for Buffalo. And I picked them to cover that. But when the Eagles went down early, I should have known that Buffalo was going to go down as well. I should have known, because see, that's normally how it be, man. I haven't seen it where it have been where you had one team that just ran off with the league and just stayed undefeated for weeks and weeks and weeks. It happens, but it's rare. Normally, they all go down around the same time. And this is what happened this week. There was only 2 remaining undefeated teams, the Eagles and Buffalo, and they both received their first loss respectively on Sunday. But New England Patriots, they seem to be back. They're above 500. Drake made 273 yards. Seemed to be pretty effective throwing the ball. Josh Allen, of course he made plays. Josh Allen always make plays. But they just couldn't keep, they couldn't put New England away. New England just fought. And they got the lead, and they were able to answer every time Buffalo answered. They answered back, and they was able to win the football game. There's a lot of field goals, a lot of special teams involved in the outcome of this game. Wasn't very exciting other than, like I said, the turnovers. But when we look at New England, man, where they at right now? I always go back to the standings so we can kind of look. New England right behind Buffalo. So that division is going to come down to those 2 teams. Miami, they're done. The Jets, they're done. So it's going to be a 2-horse race right here between Buffalo and the Patriots. Buffalo 4-1, New England is 3-2 on the season. And that is it for our Sunday recap of the NFL. How do you like that? It was a hell of a damn week of football. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please hit the like button and subscribe button. I'll be back a little bit later with my player of Clip It and Book It player of the week. I'll also be back with my NFL top 10 quarterback power rankings as of right now. And I will also be back with some other reactions that I see on the internet. So just make sure y'all tune in for that. I do appreciate it. This is Welcome to the Crib. I am